Hello everyone. Today I'm working on a Plague Doctor mask. I purchased this actually on, I want to say, My Mini Factory or something like that. I'll put a link in the description. Printed it on my Peopoly Phenom L. One of the problems I'm having with my Phenom is the LEDs are starting to dim, so I do actually get some print failures, especially on these larger prints. I have a previous version of this that doesn't have the side vents that I'm going to use for actually attaching filter material. So what I'm going to do is try and cut out a relatively complete portion of this and replace this. So that's what we're working on today. So given that this stuff is pretty nasty, I'm going to wear a mask. Probably don't want to be breathing it. Kind of cool to see the standoffs in there. Makes the hollow structurally really sound. But trash. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull out some of the standoffs in here, and then we're just going to glue the whole thing in. We're epoxy resin it, so. So I think I mentioned that one of the reasons why I'm trying to save this is actually an expensive print, and it's failed numerous times. So fails because of the failure of the resin to cure. So it actually has been a problem to print. This is from a previous one, and I just need a little tiny piece that comes in here. So I'm going to see if I can pull that out, because it looks pretty bad on the stand-ups. So now that we've processed the mask, I'm going to go ahead and start setting it up to create a glove mold that we'll eventually use to cast in a skin-safe, respiratory-safe plastic. There are actually two parts to this. So the first part is the mask itself, which we'll just cast on a flat surface like this. And the second is the valve holder. So the valve holder is actually you will be able to screw it onto the mask. I need to trim some over there. Let's see, just like that. So the two pieces will need to be cast. I only have one of these, so I'm planning on taking this piece of foam PVC and just wrapping around using hot glue to create a seal, and then we'll cast inside of it. Okay, so I made the ring. I did put a little nut M3 screw in here just to hold it together. So I'm going to go ahead and put some hot glue. Put it over here in the corner. Give it a little twist so it seals. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down so it doesn't float in the mold. I'm going to do a little bit of a mechanical adhesion because I'm not sure the hot glue will stick to the resin. So I'm putting the glue through one of the holes. And there we go. I'm going to do the same with the big mask over here, just so it doesn't float around on me while I'm casting. Now, one of the things I'm trying out here is I left the standoffs from the print so that I can cast over the mold, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so for the first part of this mold making, I'm going to put a glove coat on this, fill this up, and I'm actually going to create a bunch of pucks with probably just 5 milliliters, maybe 10 milliliters of the silicone. This is actually going to be used for registration on the glove mold for later on. For this part of the project, I am using a Tap Plastic Silicone RTV. I've actually found that this is compatible with the 3D printed resin. So, and then we'll use side B, and we do. Let's see. Oh, it's on this side. So it is 1 part of the catalyst to 10 parts of the base. So we'll put 10 of this and 1 of those. So by parts, I'm going to do it by weight using this scale, and grams usually works really well for this. So let's figure out what units it's in. Awesome, I think I need to replace the battery. So a CR 2032 later, we have our gram scale zeroed out. I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir, which is kind of like chewing gum. It's kind of gross. I just recently used it, so I'm not going to do a lot of stirring. Now this stuff's pretty cool because you don't actually need to vacuum degas it. It settles in quite nicely. Okay, so for this, I think I'm going to go and use maybe 200 grams. But kind of at this point, it's really just about getting a round number that you can use with the your 10-to-1 measurement. Okay, so we are at 222. Now I usually put a little bit more than 10-to-1. Seems to work better in colder, humid environments. So we're going to shoot for, say, 23 grams of the blue stuff. Now I'm not using a mold release because this stuff comes off it only sticks really to itself, so I'm not terribly worried about mold release at this point. Maybe later on when we get to the casting, I'll use mold release. So I go slowly in the beginning so I don't splash the hardener out. That is looking good to me. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start our puck pour. Just set out a bunch of them. Since I do want to actually make sure we have enough to cover this first part, I'm just going to go ahead and pour it in. I am going to pour it from above because this will help pop the bubbles. And I am looking for about 1/4 of an inch on all sides, so. How's that for changing from English to metric and back again, huh? There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. Minimize waste by sticking them all together. Okay, let's see how many of these pucks we can get out. Now, one thing I've learned from previous casts is more registration better. The more you have, the less likely you're going to pull the mold away from the external shell. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and like working with chewing gum. Now, yeah, let's go ahead and top this one off. Okay, so set that aside. It will congeal. We'll pull it out and start from scratch. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these out of the way. Let them cure. They'll take a while. We'll start on first coat of this one. Okay, so I am go ahead and tear. Okay, so we're going to do probably, I'm going to say half of this. Because it's better to, it's going to just drip off, so. We are going to lose a lot in the first couple of layers, so. Don't want to lose too much. Okay, so that's 176. Let's do about 20 of the blue stuff. For the next batch, I'm going to use a thickener and stick stuff up in these corners so that we get a good coverage. But for now, I'm just looking for top coat. I'm going to use a acid brush and push stuff into the corners, into all these nooks and crannies. Make sure we don't get any air bubbles or trap. Especially these top ones where people can see it. Okay, so I'm going to come up and start putting some up the bottom here. I do expect to lose quite a bit of this because there's not really a lot to stick onto. But we'll build it up over time.